How's it going? All right. Playing around with this stuff. It is the weekend. Hope y'all being safe. Trying to fix myself here. And today is all about killing this myth that I've had friends and let's put out the let me I was watching some of my videos from the last couple of days, and the audio was sucky. So I'm hoping to improve that, and y'all can actually hear me. I felt like, man, this is like the Asian girl from Pitch Perfect, where it's like, but I was like, I need to fix that. So I got a mic. I'm gonna keep it up so that way um, you guys can hear me and get this information out effectively. So this is not to bash college. I'm not saying college is bad. All I'm saying is it's not necessary. That's it. That's all the video. Okay, but um, but yeah, there's this myth that you need to go, and I'll give you a couple stories where it came from. A lot of guys, especially senior NCOs, will go to college and they will try to knock out these classes, thinking that, oh, once I get my college, I'll get a job in aviation. And you still can get a job in aviation. However, you're not going to be working on an airplane because a lot of places require, or if you especially want to move up the ladder, you need an A&P to start off with. Okay, and some places require it per FAA. So today, I'm just going to kill the myth that keeps people in military aviation that that is required, right? So it really depends on what you want to do. But as far as getting your A&P, you don't have to go there. I've talked to a lot of guys who I served with, and they're going to college to get an A&P, and I was like, no, dude, you don't need to go. This is just you're not dumb. It's just you've been marketed to. You've been sold this and that, and some people are generally, when they sell it to you, they don't know that's an option. And there's some people who should have known and should have told you to keep that an option, but they didn't tell you. Okay, so I people hear the A&P and assume it's becoming an engineer, but it's not. It's that license to work on, like, say, these, work on uh, a Boeing, like, say, Southwest Airlines. Okay, you don't need it. You don't need to go through all the classes, waste your time doing those things. Literally, you can get your A&P in a couple of weeks. Some people can do it in a week. Those are rare, but those can happen. And a lot of times, if you're continuing your aviation, uh, let's say, career path and going to use your college degree for it, you can get an aviation maintenance management course. I know Spartan does it really well, and I'm not getting any money from them about this. And maybe Amarillo can do the same thing where you take your A&P and they give you credits for it. Knock out a lot of your stuff, especially your CCAF. You can knock out a lot of stuff. And this is if you're Air Force, CCAF. And that's how it was when I was in. And you can try to see, what you can get your degree faster. Whether it's a community college, but of course this is only applies if you're pursuing an aviation maintenance degree of some sorts. It could be management, it can be or just your maintenance technology community college. So that is an option. Okay, so the FAA and employers won't ask you about your degree unless your certain job position requires it. But if you're just going to be a mechanic, the FAA won't ask you for it. They won't. They just care that you have that piece of paper, A&P. That's all they care about. They're not going to ask you, what were your scores on your A&P test. They just care, and there's no grades. So as long as you have that, boom, you're done. Okay, so that's the only way. That's the only thing that you need to provide to prove you are qualified because you passed the exams, you got the experience, and that is a pathway. Okay, so that's the truth. So there's a few ways you can get your AMP. Okay, there's three of them. One of them is what they call Part 147 schools, which is just the colleges, the 2-year colleges that will take you from. These are great for people who have no experience and do not go into the workforce right away. They can do this. Okay, so structured, straightforward, great for a guided route. Okay, so if you're a struggling teen, 18, 19 years old, and you're looking for something to do, but you like airplanes, you don't want to work yet, but not going into the military, this is a great place to go to. Okay. Second route is these last two are we call 8610-2s, because that's the form that you will fill out your practical hands-on experience. And there's two routes to this. So these two branch off. Not branch off, but fork. It just depends your preference. What do you do? You can go the civilian route, where you can go work on if you already have some technical experience. I've known some military guys like Army guys, who maybe work on some Humvees, or they worked on some, vehicles in the military, and they went to go work at an MRO, a maintenance repair shop, and they're like, well, you got some hands-on experience. We'll teach you everything to work on aviation stuff. Or sometimes maybe that, um, maybe you had some prior aviation maintenance skills, and you go work for the maintenance shops, and that's the route you take. Or maybe your parents were rich, you helped them fix the airplanes, and you gathered experience that way. So by the time you turn 18, you provide them all your proof that you worked on their AMP, and then go. You already had the documentation. I've heard that happen before. And then there's the military side, where you go straight into military, whether it's Marines, Navy, Air Force, and you gain your experience that way. Even though these aircraft are not FAA certificated, some helicopters are, maybe some other aircraft are, that have some level of FAA certifications components, and then you have some experience that way. But these things don't have to be certificated. Okay, so um, you just gotta provide. Most importantly, all of it, whether you go to 147, you gotta have proof and provide it to the FAA, which is the Flight Standard District Office. Just put FSDO, Google that, and then they will help you where's your nearest office, so you can talk to them about that. Okay. So why does this myth persist, right? Mike Rowe talks a lot about this. Society says you got to go to college, you got to go to college. Military leaders do the same thing. They tell the guys to go to college, and it's not a bad advice, and it's not bad at all, because a lot of times, you can squeeze in a couple of hours at a community college. You can squeeze out a couple of classes online. There's no excuse not to go to school, especially if you're in aviation maintenance. You can start studying online to get ready for your exams, okay? Especially after you hit your 3-year mark in the active duty force. So, but yeah, military leaders, I remember it got pushed onto me as soon as I got done with my first training, my set of trainings, my first phase of trainings in the military. I went straight into college, knocking that out with Embry-Riddle. And yeah, it's not bad. I had that stuff already knocked out. So it's easy, it's safe, there's a good ROI, it gets paid for, it gets done. Like once you get your degree, like you're gonna have that maintenance management degree or maintenance technology degree. At one point, it was a required thing to do, so that's what you did. So it's not bad, especially for military members, because a lot of times you're not gonna have the debt. You're just gonna waste a lot of time afterward. So it's not wasted time. If I had to guide you and you're gonna stay in aviation maintenance, you want to get into some extracurricular activities, I would say the first thing to knock out is your AMP. Knock that out right away, because if you do stay in aviation, you got that AMP. And if you continue to kind of like continue to go to college, you need a reason to go to college and stuff like that because it looks good on your performance records, or you need the VA stuff. You can start adding that and get your degree that way. And the A&P helped you out to get those credits. But if you're already passionate about something completely different, like cybersecurity, some IT information, um, you know, I still get the A&P and then work uh, on that degree later. Because at least if things didn't work out, you have that certificate because it's a lifetime. It is a lifetime certificate, and you can fall back on it. Okay, so if you're in the military, if you want to go into 147 school because they're going to pay for it, go ahead. Knock that out. I understand you need that little cushion, something to get some money. From the what's it, post 9/11 VA. I know guys a lot to do it. I do it because I want to get my project management degree, and it's something that's good to learn and stuff like that. Okay. Like I said before, start collecting all your documentation, and talk to your FAA official near you. FSDO. These guys are going to help you, kind of guide you through how it's going to go, what they want. That's super important because every inspector is different. One inspector might be strict, one guy might be lax, one guy might be, wants certain type of paperwork, maybe it's new and just doesn't feel the warms and fuzzy from you that you have experience. So he's going to require a little more documentation. Tenant records is fine, but you got to make sure that that inspector feels great about, signing you off to go test, because it's just like a QA guy feels good to sign you off on certain tasks. Okay. So start documenting, start talking to him, and figure out what documentation he wants. He might be different from another guy. Okay, so a bit, if you plan to do the test prep, all the material is from the same place. Like me as a test prep, even though I'm not an FAA certified facility, I'm just prepping you to get ready for those exams. Like, why would I teach you other stuff? That's like just such a waste of time. And people, colleges, was like, oh, that's not a legit school. I was like, no, it's not a legit school because, one, I'm testing you to pass these exams. You already have experience. When I have a nearly 100% pass rate on people who do the practical stuff, because you teach them one time, they get it and they move on. Like labs in our school does not take a long time, and it's a handful of labs that they've never done before. That's why I do it, because these labs are so quick. So uh, these military guys already have experience. You might be civilian too, and you get the test prep. However, these guys pick it up so fast. I was like, oh yeah, that's easy. So there's some guys that surprised me. I didn't think they would take a long time to drill a rivet. I thought it was gonna take me a long time to bug a rivet. No, just get familiar with the setup, with the tools, and then a couple of minutes, I'm already bunking rivets. And of course, over a couple of years, you'll get better at it and more effective with it. So, but it's not hard. And yeah, I only got a fail in the past 3 years, only because this one guy decided that he can do it without the training and just go over there cold, not knowing nothing, not studying, just went in there cold, wasted his money and that and his time and the DM's time. It was so bad that the DM called me and I was like, hey, I'm filling this guy because he wasn't ready. And I was like, all right, and or maybe he called me. I was like, hey, this guy failed because he just wasn't ready. He told me the story that he just went up there. He didn't have enough time in a day or enough time to stay and learn the labs, and that's the only reason. So you guys can pick it up. Don't let the practicals scare you. You guys are more than capable. Just get the practice and then get going. And you can. Here's a secret that I'm gonna give you that I haven't shared with anybody, and nobody talks about it. So when I first started, before Code One, before I started a school, before I started selling anything or starting anything, I was helping these guys with this checklist just to get ready for that interview with the FAA before you even get your 8610-2. So These guys went to the shops. They had to go to the shops. This is how the Scottsdale checklist went, right? They had to go and get familiar with all these things so they can have some knowledge, because on that checklist there was level one. You got to be aware of it. Yeah, yeah, I get the idea. That's all you needed to pass on. Two is kind of be a little more educated on it. Maybe tried it once. Number three is a little more in-depth knowledge and how to the practical experience. So on some things you have to have that practical knowledge, and these guys went to those shops to to get signed off by that shops by an E6 or above or an A&P. So to prove that they can do that, right? Not just pencil whip it. And you got to be careful with that because people have been pencil whipping it. That's not good. So and we'll see it in when I quiz you or I see your labs, you got pencil whipped because it's so crazy how just dumbfounded they are. They have no clue. It's like the first time they've seen it, and they shouldn't do that when they first come to school or to especially a DME. Okay, so that is a secret, and you can actually do all this stuff, most of the stuff, from your base. Anywhere you have maintenance going on, engine maintenance, talk to the propulsion guys. The only thing that I've been finding out that we're gonna get away from, but we just don't do it enough, is the engine compressions. I mean, it's the same concept in a car. If you have a car and you have the compression test, it's the same thing as what you'll do on a piston engine. It's the same concept. Okay, so we're gonna post up some videos over there. I think we already did, of how it works. Now is just the propeller parts, but hooking it up, that's, to me, is probably the hardest part, and reading the gauge. But that's it. That's all. but uh, but yeah, there's more to it now. Okay, so study before you go to school. There's a school, I'm not going to mention them. They're good people. It's either they're in on it, which I'll be scared of, because if they're saying they don't want you, maybe because it's a certain habit they don't want you to learn. Maybe they have their own question bank, which I'd be concerned about. But because how they're obtaining the questions to answer, because everybody will tell you, you look it online on Facebook groups, like, hey, all these questions and answers weren't on this test, and then they want you to, like, they're going to still be on the test, so, but the concepts are the same anywhere. They're universal. So whether you go to Philippines and you figure out how to do a compression test on a piston engine, it's going to be the same as on a DME. We're going to teach you exactly what you're going to see, not exactly, but very close to it, that you yourself need to know. Okay, so I want to close with, if you want your A&P clarity without any of the fluff, I have an A&P school online where you can learn all this stuff on your own. I'm gonna start having some classes online for, right now it's free. Get in while it lasts. We're thinking about closing it off in the middle of this month, and now start charging people. Um, been doing it for free for over probably 2 years. I can go back and check, but it's coming up on 2 years. So we got our instructors are in there. We have handful of instructors on there, uh, from colleges to our own instructors, prep school instructors. We have director of maintenance people in there. We have one from Frontier, and a couple smaller shops. So get on there. That way you can communicate with everybody. We're trying to build this community. Our mission is to get you to attain your A&P and get you connected with employers, but we want you to get ready. You have to get ready. You can't, user resources are available to you. Um, so just, yeah, first step would be contacting your FSDO. Those are the guys you need to contact, okay? So let's see what else. Um, I'm looking at my notes. Sorry, guys. Yeah, just reach out to me. The best place to reach out to me is a school. Oh yeah, I got this new fancy little Elgato Stream Deck that puts up things. There you go. Follow me there. That's where the school's at. We're going to help you get connected with employers. We're going to help you get connected, attain your AMP. And yeah, so, starting tomorrow, getting myself together so we can start teaching these courses with the instructors. I'm going to lead the course only because I want to get back into being familiar. I've stepped away for a long time from it. But my instructors, who even gone through our course, got their AMP, teached it, and now on here with me, volunteering their time to do this. So thank you for everybody that's supported me. Thank you for people being patient with me. And we're looking to work with sponsor companies who can sponsor military members, who can donate resources or funds, so that way we can provide tools, resources to members getting out. Okay, so follow my school.com/militarymaintainers.com. Oh no, school.com/military-maintainers. Okay, so that's our page, that's our community there, and get going. Let's make this 2026 to get your AMP, and let's knock this out all together. Okay, you're not going to be left alone. All right. Have a good night. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye bye. Oh yeah. I want to have a little catchy phrase called pulling chocks. Yeah, let's pull chocks.